where participants. And if there's some kind of organization name, so you could put your own name shown to the list, and then we know who you are. And when the speaker is speaking, so I hope you could shut your cameras and microphones, and when we have group discussions, so you can have your cameras on. And in plenary, you can raise the hand, and if you want to say something, and if you want to share something in written format, so you can write to the chat. And then in the plenary, in the discussions, we raise up those questions that you have. And then about us who are organizing this webinar. So you can see the picture that was taken in April this year. And there are people from, and where people from Caritas Luxembourg, Skiaf, Caritas Finland, and Caritas Portugal and Estonia. And now you can see.
Sorry, Laura, we are not. Can you put in the presenting mode the presentation? We are seeing
okay.
the first slides. Yeah.
Because it's, I have now it's in presentation mode. I didn't see it. Thank you, Hugo, for saying. I tried again.
Now, yes.
Now you can see it. Okay. So there's our picture from last April, and when we met in Helsinki. So we are member of 4 Caritas member countries, and my name is Laura Koskelainen, who is leading the team. Then we have Hugo from Portugal, Mark from Skiaf, and Ott from Caritas Estonia. And we are going to develop our fundraising systems this year and next year. And we will have webinars that are open for all. That is first one of them. And then we have a final meeting just with 4 of us in end of next year. And here's about our agenda. So at first we are going to have some kind of presentations, first from Skiaf and Caritas Portugal. Then we have a break, and then I'm going to tell something about Caritas Finland, and then Ott something about Caritas Estonia. And the webinar will be over around 1 o'clock CET. And I hope you can find some new ideas about fundraising with parishes, and get to know some other people that are doing fundraising around Europe, and enjoy and learn something new. And now it's time for some kind of get to know each other thing that Hugo has organized, your questionnaire.
Okay, Laura, thank you. Can you stop the presentation? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Hugo from Caritas Portugal. It's a pleasure to see so many people here from different Caritas with us. We were preparing this webinar with a lot of effort and trying to give you very good contents and useful and important contents for you to apply in your work. We were very happy because we had a lot of subscriptions to the webinar. Some people are arriving now. And just to have an idea who is who and what are you doing with your work with Parish, we prepared a survey that I will share now. And I will ask you to fill it, the answers, and then we can see the results and have an idea. Just, taking the temperature of our room. Okay. So let's start it. Okay, are you seeing the survey now? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so it's 5 questions. You can take your time to answer. Can you vote? Are you able to vote? Yes? Okay, this doesn't...
Actually, I'm not able to vote.
No? No, I'm seeing the answers now. Yeah.
Okay.
Was a little bit delayed. Okay. Okay, so far we have 15 people that already answered. $18, and we are almost done. Yeah, I think I can. Another one. Can I close the questionnaire? Yes, yes. The last one, it's now or never to fill it. Okay, so just have a look to the results. Can you see the results? Yeah, so in the first question, mostly of the people have more than 100 parish in their countries. Okay, so you have a lot of potential to work with. 21% doesn't have, and okay, 60 doesn't know. Second question, how you consider yourselves? Okay, as a beginners, perfect. That's the way we have to start it. It's a beginner, and then we aggregate experience, and then we have only one expert in the room. Is that you, Mark? I suppose.
No, that wasn't me.
Okay, so we invite the expert in the room to share also some
It was me.
knowledge. Oh, Jenny, welcome, Jenny from Cafon.
Jenny's an expert. She'll keep me right.
That's
Been doing
amazing.
it for
So,
a while
Jenny,
now.
you are invited to share with us some,
Thank you.
some knowledge. Okay, and no idea. Okay, that's good to know. In the end, we expect that those two that doesn't have any idea that at least consider themselves as a beginners. Then moving to the third question, organize fundraising activities or events. Okay, yes. 16%. Mostly of them doesn't organize. Okay, let's see. And at least during the Advent or Lent. Okay. The 4 questions. Parish in my country donate more money to to emergency and humanitarian appeals. It's the second option. The first, because the almost 50% doesn't know. Okay, so considering that emergency and humanitarian appeals, it's the cause that Parish appeal give more funds, domestic programs and international programs. Okay, we were talking a little bit about all these questions and these topics during our presentations. We can go through in deep a little bit about. And what kind of best practice? We put a kind of checklist based on your answers in the subscription form, because people, when were subscribing, were putting experience or activities in the form, and we can choose all of them and put it here. And as you can see, also with this checklist, we have a lot of ideas, a lot of things that you can organize. So let's go see what are the first. I don't have yet. Okay, so let's work on that. Donation box in church mass, it's the second one. Collection offertory, are the most traditional ways to make fundraising in parish. Collection envelopes for Lenten renunciation. Okay, this during the Lenten time. Merchandising, 30%. Okay, 32%. We are talking a little bit about this in my presentation. Placing materials in the local newspapers, the season newspaper. Okay, it's a good practice. Digital online fundraising, it's the follow answers. And then with only 2 people, community, sports, activities, fairs, and lunch, virtual events, and others. Okay, so more or less we have a lot of people that consider themselves as beginners, people that are not doing activities in the parish. So this was one of our goals with this webinar. It's to give you tools, give you knowledge, give you an inspiration for you to start thinking how to work with the parish and how to get funds from the parish and so on. So I'm done. I will pass the floor to Mark. Thank you for your participation. It was really nice to get a picture from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. I will share the screen and Mark can then start.
Thank you. Thanks, Laura. Well, good morning, and thank you for letting me speak to you for a little while. I was tempted to tick the expert like Jenny in that, but I felt, I'm not long into my long title role there. You see, advocacy, community engagement, and education manager. You may be like a lot of Caritas organizations in that sometimes capacity is an issue, and then you get moved into lots of different roles. But I have been working at SCIAF for nearly 12 years. And in that time, I've done a lot of fundraising within individuals, schools in particular, and in parishes. But if you are looking for a magic trick with parish engagement, I don't have that. But what I do have is just trying to share with you a little bit of what we have been doing and where we see things as important. And I suppose what we're hoping from this webinar is really to share good practice and to kind of learn from each other. This image that you see is, I think, probably what we all want. We want happy priests and we want happy parishioners. And that's a good image that I like there, because that's what we want to see. We want to see clergy happy with us, working with us, wanting to do things with us, and we want our volunteers to be asking us what they can do rather than us chasing them. So before I speak about activities, if you click onto the next one, Laura, there's just 2 points that to make that are really key for us. And number one is really supporting the parishioners, really supporting the volunteers. And we feel that that's essential for a sustainable relationship to keep that going. So we see a huge difference in the level of engagement if we have a named contact, if we have a volunteer within that particular parish. We have 380 parishes across 8 dioceses in Scotland, but it's so good to have someone who we can send the material to, and they can put up posters, and we can count on them to do that. And in order to maintain those relationships and to inspire, we do training, particularly at the start of Lent, when we're asking volunteers to do talks and to lead workshops. We also invite volunteers where appropriate. If they're close enough to the office, we invite them in for coffee. We spend time with them, and we also communicate with them at least every month, just not asking them to do things, but keeping them up to date with how things are going, stories of our work, different ways of engaging with us. And then what I mean by the second point in playing to the strengths of priests is that we want to try and find out as much as we can about that particular priest as a gatekeeper. You know, if we have a good relationship with them, then there's a good chance of going further than just working with the priest. And if we know that there's a particular passion from one of the priests of working with young people, then we will work with that priest on our youth resources. And if you have priests that like to talk and like to share their opinion, but which is probably most, we like to invite them onto advisory groups, give them a place within the SCIAF. Not dictating what we do or running and making decisions, but actually inviting them in onto groups so that they can speak and they can talk about what we do. And we find that has a really good way of kind of, if you get priests on board and we go out with material, then other priests are likely to use it because it's peer to peer, and we're doing that in that way. Yeah. So the next slide, just going to make a few points. One of the things that we want to do is, that's fine, you can put both pictures up, Laura, that's okay. So what we like to do is join existing events. So again, that's partly to do with capacity, but if we, for 2 main reasons, we do this. As an agency of the Bishops' Conference, part of the church, we feel that we should be visible at Catholic events within diocese or nationally. And the other main reason is that it's just really good for our engagement levels. So when we're engaging, lights going off in my room, I'll wave so they come back on. If there's a national pilgrimage, we want to be at it. And we might not run it, we might not lead it, but if we are there and we are visible, then the parishes and the clergy see that we are part of the church, not just by name, not just by, you know, signing off. We are part of the Bishops' Conference, but we're there. And that's we see this as really important. It might be an event, a national event on Catholic social teaching. Even if we're not taking part, then we want to be there and we want to be visible. So we see that as a really important way of kind of being visible and being part of the church. My next slide is that we want to use the archbishops and bishops strategically. We feel that that's really important in our levels of engagement and then therefore levels of fundraising. So it seems like a very sensible thing to do, like an obvious thing to do. We have our bishop president, which is the tallest of the people you see there. It's maybe the best way to describe it. Bishop Brian, he's a fantastic advocate for us. He's traveled to some of the projects that we support. He's recently back from Zambia, and we then use him to write the appeal letters to a lot of parishes. So for this Christmas, for example, the letter will come from Bishop Brian. It won't come from the individual giving officer. It won't come from the fundraising manager. It will come from the bishop. And it will be, I have spent some time in Zambia with SCIAF. This is what I saw. This is what we're asking you to do. And again, that might be something obvious. It might be something that people haven't used before. But we feel that if a letter comes out from the clergy, then there's a sense in which people will listen. But we don't do that all the time because it will lose its kind of significance. So we don't do that for every appeal. Every communication isn't from the bishop or from a priest. But we do feel that it's really important. We have a local parish priest on our public engagement committee, and he self-funded a visit to Colombia recently, which is our next Lent's focus. And he wanted to self-fund it because he wanted to say that, so if he didn't want people thinking that SCIAF were spending money on sending a priest to a different country, so he chose to self-fund that. And what that means is that there's just a very, you have people that are very, I guess, very involved in SCIAF's work. They're not just being told what to do; they want to do it. Yeah, I think the next slide, Laura, is that we have deliberately chosen to meet parishioners and priests by offering kind of faith formation activities. So that might be general, what do SCIAF do presentations. It might be workshops that we lead on integral human development. We're trying to educate the parish audience as well as the school audience, not in a patronizing way, but very much helping parishioners understand why they're giving their money, and that we feel really helps. Most of these events, and there's a few photos, Laura, if you just click through them. Most of these events do not have a fundraising ask. They might challenge parishes how they fundraise and why they do it. And along with prayer material, we feel that then leads them on to fundraising quite naturally. So data tells us that if we have a number of visits with a particular parish, that will then lead to sustained income. There will be parishes that fundraise for us without that level of engagement. So it's not that you have to do that level of engagement, but we feel that we need to do that for a sustainable relationship to keep them going. And obviously our hope is that through those engagements without fundraising, that it will lead to fundraising. Yep, this map here that you see of Scotland, you can see that it's not very detailed, but there's lots of islands. And one of the things that we've become aware of at SCIAF is that sometimes people can accuse SCIAF of being very Glasgow centric, and just there. So I think if you click one more time, Laura, you'll see a little yellow section come up. Most of the Catholic population in Scotland live within that area, but that doesn't mean that we ignore the rest of Scotland, obviously, because we are part of the church in Scotland, and that means that Shetland way up way off Scotland. It means going further north. That little traveling circuit is something I'll be doing in a few weeks' time. We feel it's so important to get out to parishes. Again, it might be an obvious thing. We work with volunteers who are in Aberdeen, Elgin, Inverness, Aviemore, some of the places that you see there highlighted. But it brings a lot of, yeah, if you show that you care, if you show that you're interested, and sometimes that might mean actual staff rather than volunteers going out physically, and again being visible in areas where there might not be a huge Catholic population, but there is a Catholic population. So you're so welcomed when you do this. And I recently did this in Lent, and I stayed with a priest in Inverness, and he loved the fact that we had come to see him and spend time, even more, stay overnight and have dinner and build up these relationships. Now, I can't do that all the time. I can't do that every week. You're probably similar, you know, in that you can't give that amount of time all the time, but it is really worth it. It's really worth it. Provides a sense of care. And when you meet volunteers that sometimes you only speak to on a screen like this, it really involves them and gives them a sense of satisfaction. So yeah, we do it because we want to have that image. Again, if you click on, Laura, back to that photo. Okay, no, just the other way.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going. And one more. There we go. Just to remind us again, that's what we're looking for. So I haven't given very specific examples in my particular kind of talk just now, but the areas that I feel that really help us is joining events within the Catholic calendar, because we don't have to organize them all, using the clergy strategically, deliberately choosing to host events that are not always asking for money, because that leads to a stronger, deeper relationship, and people then know why they give money, and then finally going out and being seen to be out and going to further, more remote places, and using some SCIAF staff for that, but also supporting volunteers to be able to do that. So I'll stop there.
Thank you, Mark. We are perfectly on time. So if you have any questions, so you can now open your cameras and raise your hand or put questions to the chat. Well, I could ask from Mark that what are the first steps if you are in the beginning of creating relationships with parishes? So what are the first steps you should do? Yeah,
so we would say that it's always good to use the kind of formal approach. So speaking to the priest, and making contact with the priest. So even if a volunteer comes to us from a parish and says, we'd like to volunteer, we'd like to do more, we always want to take the right route. So for us here in Scotland, it may be different elsewhere. It'd be interesting to hear. We feel that we still go through the priest. So the first steps for us would be to begin a relationship that is more than just a name on a letter. It's meeting, it's actually face to face, and people buying into the mission of SCIAF, and people being able to understand that and be enthusiastic and excited about what the church is doing globally. So we want to be able to do that, and we feel that that's really the first step. Other than that, the first step sometimes may be events where we invite potential volunteers, parish contacts to an event. So we may have a speaker, or we might invite groups of people into the office and spend time talking about our work and sort of empowering and doing that. So those are the kind of two options that we take when it comes to parish fundraising.
Yeah, and now I see that Jenny has lifted her hand. Please.
Thanks, Laura. And thank you, Mark. It was a great talk. And I'm really encouraged to hear that you're focusing on parish priests, as are we at CAFOD. I was wondering if you had any good practice examples from Scotland. In England and Wales, we're finding that we're meeting a lot of new priests who are coming particularly from Nigeria, but a number of African countries to be parish priests in England and Wales. And when they come, they're relatively new to CAFOD, so they may be familiar with Caritas in their home country, but CAFOD is often like a new thing for them. So we're sort of investing time in like educating on that. But I was wondering if you had experience of that as well, and whether you'd recommend anything particularly different in sort of trying to raise awareness with priests from our diaspora, as opposed to priests from Scotland.
Yeah, maybe it's not so much for us. I would say that it's maybe not so much the difference. Again, it's how to get all priests together as well. So we do look at, so from a school context, it seems a lot easier to meet with, let's say, a group of principal teachers when they have their conference, and our chief exec is speaking right now actually to all the head teachers of primary schools, for example. So we have that access. It becomes a little bit harder for us to access the bishops' conference. It's not so easy to get on the agenda, but we do try that. That's one way in which we try to speak to all priests and try and get that message out. But I appreciate that's not answered that particular question though, Jenny, as far as priests coming and not knowing maybe anything. But maybe you're like us in that sometimes when we speak to certain groups globally, we change to Caritas Scotland rather than, SCIAF, or CAFOD becomes Caritas England and Wales, so that the Caritas name is there. So yeah, sorry, I've not answered your question.
No, thank you. That helps, since we're dealing with the same issue though. So no, thank you.
Is there any more questions?
Hello, I'm Rachel Taylor from Caritas Salford. It's just more of a comment, Laura. Sorry, Jenny, talking about CAFOD not being recognised. Interestingly, from a Caritas point of view, we have a difficulty in the same, but in a similar way, that priests from other countries recognise the word Caritas but think it means something different. So they think that we will be fundraising for Caritas back in their home country, perhaps in their own towns where there is obviously great need, whereas clearly what we're trying to raise money for and engage them with are the social issues in the Diocese of Salford. So it's interesting to hear you, Jenny, to say that and know that it's not just us having that same challenge. Thank you.
And then there is Ola, who has raised her hand.
Yes, hello, my name is Alexandra from Poland. And Mark, I would like to ask you how many parishes you have in Scotland, and how many times you attend in some parishes event during the year?
Yeah, so we have 380 parishes. It is looking to be dramatically reduced over the next 10 years. So we have a number of reports coming out from the bishops saying that those numbers will be going down. And over the course of a year, I would say that we normally have probably close to sort of 330, 340 that will actually fundraise and give something for to SCIAF. So a good percentage will be engaged with SCIAF. And as far as going out and doing those sorts of trips, we might have three members of staff that might do that sort of loop once or twice a year and try and spend a few days doing that. And then often it's volunteers. But we will also, because that yellow block that I put up over the biggest population, we will be doing lots of presentations and visits in those areas.
Okay, thank you.
And if there is not more questions, though, then it's time for Hugo and Portugal.
Okay, thank you, Laura. So let me share here the presentation. First of all, I know that there are some people from Caritas Lithuania here. I see Erika and another one. So I also saw in Christina. I also I saw in your subscription form that you sell also candles in your parish. So in the end, if you want to share a little bit, I will love to hear from you and to see how is in the North Europe the way you're doing. Okay, I will share how is in the South way, and then it will be nice to hear from you. Okay, so let's start sharing here. Okay. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I will talk a little about our merchandising campaign that we run with develop and run together with the dioceses and the parish. And I will use this as an example to explain how we work with the parish. So this is the three topics that I will explain you. What is the campaign, how we develop an action plan with the parish, and how to raise and spare the funds with the parish. Okay, so starting from Caritas Portugal, just have an idea how we organize ourselves. We are Caritas Portugal is the one who's organizing the network, the national network. We have 20 dioceses. They belong to the national network. We had 1,200 employees in the entire network, not only in Caritas Portugal, because in Caritas Portugal we are only 13 or 14. And we have 10 million inhabitants, and across the country we have approximately 4,400 parish. Okay, but if we trying to identify the parish that have parish groups with a representative or parish groups that are organized, we just identified so far more or less 350. So we have a lot of parish, but if we can see if they are organized as a group, we have a very low percentage. Okay, I will talk a little bit more deeper what is the GPIS. We call them in Portuguese GPIS, the Parish Social Action Groups, and I will explain how they organize themselves. Okay, now let's explain a little bit an overview about the campaign. About the campaign we call 10 million stars, Register for Peace. This campaign, mostly of you already know because it's really famous. Some of the characters already replied this campaign. They started on France in 1901, and then in 2002, 2003, mostly of the European Caritas launched their national campaign based on the France model. And we started on the 2003, and now at the moment we are in the 22 edition. So all the years we organizing this national campaign for the dioceses and for the parish. As you can manage, as you can imagine, 22 years consecutively takes a lot of an effort to reinvent, to get new ideas, to always give a new product for the campaign. But so far we are doing that because it's there's a lot of good results. The dioceses, our national network really wants this campaign, and this is a very good way to work with the parish, and I will explain later. But this campaign, it's not only about fundraising and merchandising. Okay, we have three main objectives. In all the years, we are achieving or trying to address these three objectives. First of all, it's raising awareness of the values of peace. That's why the campaign calls 10 million stars Register of Peace. We make an appeal to all the Portuguese to enjoy this, to join this campaign, to make a register buying the candle, and then reflection about the values of peace. So it's one of the goals. Refocus the Christian experience of Christmas, how we live the Christmas, not a commercial Christmas, but a Christian Christmas. So it's one of the important message that we have. And we'll focus on my presentation, I will focus on the fundraising and how we sell candles. As you can see here in the pictures, we make public events talking about peace. This is peace. Also in the church with the bishops, you know, a lot of different things. So, okay, how we divide this? We get funds from the candles, those we sell, and then we split. 35% it's go to the Caritas Portugal that organize all the campaign and provide the materials, provide the videos, provide everything to the dioceses. And this 35% is to support international projects that we run. Okay, so 35% we support a lot of different projects. Now we're supporting mostly Portuguese spoken countries like Angola, Cape Verde, Mozambique. The rest, the 65%, is to fund the dioceses and the parish, mostly the dioceses. Okay, it's this percentage retains in the diocese, and they can use that for their activities to support the social work, whatever they want to do it with these funds. Sometimes this percentage can change. In the COVID times, they were facing a lot of economic problems and raising funds in the parish, and then we changed for 80% and 20%, 20 for Caritas Portugal International and 80 for domestic countries. So this is just a model, you know. And then just some figures, what kind of numbers we are talking about. You can see the graphic, it's the number of candles we sell in a year. So last year, in 2022, we had almost 334,000. Oh my God, these numbers in English kills me. So it was the peak. And then in last year, we had a decline for 200,000. That can explain about the first channel, the supermarket stores. We had a lot of decrease sales in the supermarkets because, as I tell you, we have to renew the products. People in the supermarket already know the product. It's not new. So that's why we created this booth or this stand, I don't know in English, to be more active, to be more, to have more promotion of the product in the store. So, but according in the last figures, 32% was the stores. We have a strategic partnership with a supermarket that has stores in the entire country. The online, it's only 5%, and we sell in our website. And as you can see, almost 2/3 of the candles, of the 200,000 candles, are sold by the dioceses and the parish. So it's our big channel. So how we do this? Caritas Portugal, as I mentioned, we organize all the campaign. We buy the candles in advance, so we order a huge number of candles, so it's low the price, the cost price. And then each of the 20 Caritas dioceses make an order, say to us how many candles they want, and they just pay us the cost price. And then the Caritas dioceses, they have the candles, and then starting to sell and get funds from different channels. We sell the candle to each candle for €2. It's the selling price. It's not that big. We have to update also this price because it's for 3 or 4 years that it's only €2. But okay, it's now what we have. And the Caritas dioceses sell to the general public, to schools, Catholic or public. They, with the support of the youth and the scouts, also sell to the corporate and partners that they have in the diocese, and events and fairs. But we're going to focus on the parish and the GPAS. So I will using the example of the Caritas Diocesan of Santarém. One first warning. This model is used by the Caritas of Santarém. The rest of the Caritas, the 19 other diocesan Caritas, have different models. So I'm using this one because when I was planning this presentation, I wanted to give an example, an action plan, how to work with a parish. And what you can see interesting, this is where is Santarém. So it's not the coast side, it's a countryside district. It's not Santarém, it's not a big city like Porto or Algarve or whatever. And they have 113 parish. Of those, they have 30 parish GPIS. Okay, I will use the acronym. GPIS, which is the groups that are organized in the parish, and with this 30, they can reach 88 parish. So using this model of the GPIS, they can coverage with a campaign, with an activity that they have with the parish, they can cover 70% of the diocese. And the interesting thing is, wow, they have a huge team. No, it's only one employee in the diocese. They have the executive board that is volunteer, and they help a lot in these field visits to the parish. But they only have one person that it's really making this relation with the parishioners, to supporting parishioners. Okay. So when I was planning, okay, let's bring to the audience an example of a small thing to do it. Okay, so what is GPIS? You will have time to read it because you will have the presentation to see. But that's organizing groups of the Christian that are in a specific parish. They can have a formal or informal status, a formal like association, like a order, a Christian order or something, a Catholic order, or they're totally informal, just a group of people that are in the parish. They can cover one parish or more than one parish, like 9 or 10 different parish. This depending the way they are organized. In our model, the priest is the key person to create the GPS. Our experience says that without the involvement of the priest, it's very difficult to get engaged with the community and to create a GPIS. When there's not a GPIS, the liaison of the diocesan is with the priest. Okay, when there's a priest, it's directly with the priest, and when there is a GPIS, the diocesan connects directly to the parish representatives. They are appointed by the priests, but then they organize themselves, and they are the focal points to develop the campaigns, to do the several actions. What is the role of the Caritas with the GPIS? So I will go very briefly on this. They support the creation, disseminate information, they provide training. They twice a year, the board members of the Caritas Diocesan meet the priests, and when they have a meeting with the bishop and the priest, the Caritas try to disseminate and to get in contact with the priest and explain how they work. Yeah, and then they organize an event also for the GPS, and at least one GPS representative are in the diocesan board member. You know, they have a place for them. Okay, so what is important to highlight here? It's more or less, Mark said it, it's a daily basis contact. It demands a close relationship. They're using the person that are doing this, using perfectly mobile, sometimes email, but mobile, physical meetings. They're always making field visits, get to know each other, hear the people, explain how it works, giving support. And in that interaction, Caritas explained the campaign, and also the parish can understand how they can be involved. Just to see the way they have this model, it's 90% of the offertory, that the GPS collects, it retains and gets in the parish. And in the merchandising canal sale, it's 30%. I will explain very briefly. It's my last slide, how they work. So in the Santarém Diocese, they ordered last year 5,600 candles. How they divided: 36% is for the international project, as I said, 35% is to support the diocesan, and 30% it's for the parish and GPS. So it's one way that parish can get funds from themselves, and also to get involved, and also to get with contact with the community, and they use the candles also for that. So the diocesan disseminate the campaign. They contact the GPS representatives, contact priests when they are in GPS, pick up orders, and then go to distribute the candles for the several parish. And in that way, they reach the 88 parish. 30% stays in the parish. So it's the percentage can be changing. This is just a model. It can be 50%, but it's something that that the diocesan discussed with the parish groups. It's a cooperative model. Another initiatives that you can do it with the campaign with the parish, it's to communicate with advertise in the diocesan newspapers, and also using the candles as a gift for weddings, catechism, parish events. So just they can continue to do other things. I will let you hear the campaign videos just for you to know a little bit how we spread out the message. And yeah, thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Hugo. Now, if you have any questions, so please share before we have a coffee break. So I can ask a first question about how you divide the percentages. So how strict are those sharings that what goes to the different parishes or the groups and what comes to your office? And do you have to argue about this, how to share money?
As I mentioned, this is the Santarém model, okay? In the others dioceses, they retain the 60% for them, okay?
Okay.
The way that they define the 30%, I imagine it was in the meetings, in conversations, and try to see how was the most fair percentage, okay?
Yeah.
They in the end they have to report us also what they are doing with that money to the diocesan, and the parish have to report to the diocesan how they are allocating the funds. So now we have to report that, but it's really depending case on case, you know.
Okay.
The Santarém, what's interesting because they really put the parish as active actors in this, you know.
You have to have many questions then.
Yeah.
So are there any more questions?
I have one. Who pays for the candles when you order all the candles? Is it Caritas Portugal, or independently all of them are buying for themselves, like paying for those candles?
Yeah, in the beginning, when we make the first order, it's Caritas Portugal that pay in advance, you know. So somehow you have to have cash flow to do that. And then the dioceses order to us an estimate number of candles that they expect to sell, you know. And sometimes and they pay us the cost price. They don't pay the €2. They can sell later on €2, and the net stays for them, you know. But the thing is, and sometimes happen when the parish order the candles for the diocesan, they can have the possibility to give them back. They don't pay anything for that, okay? Joanna, my colleague from Caritas Santarém, said that almost never happened like that. The ones that they order, they can sell it, you know. But there's also the assumption of the risk. It's on Caritas Portugal and the diocesan, you know.
Does the candles always look the same, that you can sell last year's candles this year, for example, or do you have those year stamps?
Yeah, in the 20 years we have to change a lot of the candle.
Okay.
Yeah, in the videos we'll see the different candles. We had a pack of 3 color candles, small candles. We have just a glass of a candle. Now this one with a star, it's the last version. But we are always renewing. For instance, this year we have a recharge without the glass, only the candles with the rechargeable with the whatever, without the glass. So we are selling just the recharge.
Okay.
For people does have the glass in their home, or just people that just want to, you know, buy the recharge.
Yeah.
So we are always trying to find the new solutions, and when we create this solution, we ask for the diocesans what they think about it, and then they ask also for the parish, do you think this will work or not? What do you think it's a good solution? You know, all is in a scale, bottom up and up down.
And now I see one question in the chat. So it's about the return on investment figure. So
yes. The net of between the net, it's €1.05 for each candle. Okay, so we sell 2 years, €2, and the cost price is 19 cents. So from €1 and 0.05 cents, it's the way that we distribute the 35%. But as I mentioned, we can update the price of the candle. It's €2 now. It's not that so expensive. So we can increase the return on investment and the net.
Can I just ask, Hugo, in comparison to other campaigns, what sort of percentage of income comes from the candles as to your whole kind of overall income? You know, maybe that's too.
It's huge. It's a huge. Like in our budget in Caritas Portugal, this campaign represents almost 500,000 euros. Buying the candles, the campaign. So but we can. I don't have the figures now, but I can put in the presentation later. But we have 700,000-800,000 of profits. I have to check it out, but the amount of the cost, it's more or less 500,000, to put this in practice. But you can start it in a small scale. Okay, you are talking about in 3,000 candles. It's quite a lot, so we can start it in a small budget, in a small scale, and starting with 1 parish or 2 parish, or just
Is it your biggest campaign as Caritas Portugal? Is it your biggest source of income?
No, it isn't. We have another one. It's the collection, and we have the 0.5% of the income of the taxes. That's our main campaign that we receive more money.
Okay, thank you.
This is really the way. It's not to get funds. It's to get funds, but we have the three objectives. So it's one way that we support the dioceses for them to work with the parish, and the candle, it's a way to do that. And by the end of the line, that they can get funds from that. It's just the entire process. I don't know if I was clear with my English, but I tried to do my best.
It was okay. You had also slides.
Yes.
Now we can have around 10-minute break, and then it's we come back 11:45 CET. So see you soon.
Thank you.
Hello again. Now I hope that people are slowly coming back to our webinar. It's always exciting after the break to see that who is coming back and who doesn't. But we will continue with the people who are here. So welcome and nice to see you. It's great to have you back. And now we have more presentations, and I'm going to tell some examples from Caritas Finland. And I will now share my screen, this one. So my name is Laura Koskelainen, and I come from Caritas Finland, and I have been working here in Caritas Finland for 3 years, and I'm doing mostly communications, but then I also do fundraising. So I start and build our campaigns when they come. And it's really great to be also in this group because we are kind of learning from other members and hearing good examples. And I'm glad that there are so many of you who are also taking part to this webinar and hearing about other members from Caritas Europe. And our Caritas is quite small, and it's because our Catholic Church in Finland is also really small. There's only one diocese that covers the whole country. So there is over 5 million people living in Finland, and we have 8 parishes and 1 bishop. And there are around 29 priests in Catholic Church of Finland. And as I remember correctly, though, there is 2 or 1 who are originally kind of Finnish citizens, and other priests are immigrants, and they come mostly from many different countries. Some people come from Africa. There's priests from China, Philippines, Poland. So it's large variety. Also in our parish members, because around half of the Catholics in Finland, they speak some other languages than Finnish and Swedish that are our official languages. And those who come abroad, so they have a sense of Caritas from their previous country. And yeah, it's a little bit challenging because they have a different view in mind of Caritas. Now I realize that I haven't put this in a presentation mode. No, it's the wrong slide. Sorry. Okay, well, I'm not sure what view are you seeing, but I will continue.
We can still see the slide that you were on. It's just not in presentation mode, Lara, but we can still see it. We can still see the what you were talking about.
Because then I try to put it to the presentation mode so it's switched some other way. But I will continue with this mode. And Caritas Finland is a small office. We have now we have 4 or 5 people working at our office, and our office it's in Helsinki, which is in south of Finland. And we are trying to create ways to operate in whole of the country, but it takes time. And And our organization is a membership based, so everyone who are interested can join to be a member of Caritas Finland, and they pay a fee of 25 euros per year. And they have some benefits, that they get a newsletter and discounts from our little shop. And then we are trying to create some kind of new ways to be in touch with the parishes. And I will tell you more, because we have a new project that has started in September to make better connections with parishes. So it's funded by German Bonifatiuswerk foundations, and 2 of my colleagues have started to work with this project. And it will firstly create those volunteer activities and increase volunteer participation and find new partners to support those volunteers. And Caritas Finland wants to then deepen contact with Catholic Church and find some kind of interested people around the country that are kind of Caritas ambassadors, and do some activities and volunteer evenings and so on. And well, then I realized that we have to start discussions that how could our fundraising system benefit from this project too, but I have to start and continue, because it's not so practical to have some kind of fundraising contact persons and some other contact persons in parishes who are then in this other project that my colleagues are doing. And well, it's a learning process, and a lot of footwork, because it's hard to do it online based in Helsinki, but you have to visit parishes and get to know people and learn new things. And I think that first you have to build those contacts before you start to ask money from them. So we are trying to make small steps. And my colleagues has now started to tour the country. In this month, they are doing some visits, and then end of the year, there will be some other visits too, and next year there will be more. But yeah, they know some people, but we want to then get to know even more. And now I would like to ask you that what kind of good suggestions do you have, that how could we develop our contacts with parishes more? If we are just in the beginning. So do you have any suggestions that what we should do?
Laura, do you have other church organizations that are connected to? So in Scotland, we would have Justice and Peace as another organization that is part of the church, and have you tried working with them to approach those contacts? So from often we would kind of collaborate and work with those organizations, so that there is maybe a contact or 2 contacts within a parish that work with SCIAF and Justice and Peace, and that way there's maybe not too many people trying to get one contact. Is that something that has helped? Or
actually I haven't heard, but I think there are some kind of groups that cover the whole country, but they are kind of more spiritual, not so concrete and social. But then I understand it depends on that who do you know. You have to know people and kind of have face-to-face discussions.
If I can add something, Laura.
Yeah.
I think it's to work with Parish, it's have to be a strategic thing in your activities, your annual plan. So because
that's true.
It takes a lot, it's time demanding.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time to get results. It's a long-term process.
Yeah.
And you have to really focus on that. Like you have to waste time to know people, to go to the fields, to talk with the priest, to have meetings, to hear people, you know, to co-create the activities with them. And that takes a lot of time. And you really have to plan that in your annual plan and have a budget for that, to travel, to otherwise it's more difficult.
Yeah.
If you have lower parish, it's more difficult. So really focus. And the advice that my colleague gave to me, she's always calling, always, because she said, if I stay more than 3 months without saying anything, they will the parish representative will forget about Caritas.
Yeah.
And don't remember about Caritas. So it's a daily process.
Yeah.
And it's like what I have to add.
Yeah. Thank you, Hugo. And now it's time for Ott and Caritas Estonia. Please, Ott.
Yes, thank you, Laura. I also try to share some slides, what I have prepared. Let's see if I'm able to do that. Okay. So I hope you see now my first slide. Yes, dear brothers and sisters, I am really pleased to share with you some information about this far and distant country, Estonia. And like already Laura made introduction about Finland, I would say we kind of have a similar background. Catholicism in Finland as well in Estonia is a small, and actually we have now just established our or re-established our diocese a week ago roughly. But as an introduction, let me borrow one periscope from Gospel of Matthew. You probably know that, and I think it's a beautiful principle that is definitely worth keeping in mind when organizing fundraisings and donating in general. And the second source that we follow in Caritas Estonia is based on the Catholic social teaching, which is based on the 3 principles: human dignity, solidarity, and subsidiarity. Solidarity and subsidiarity both flow from human dignity. These 2 foundational principles of Catholic social teaching are both offspring of the prime principle, human dignity, which flows from the correct understanding of the human person. And now a little about Estonia, and first in general. It is important to understand that context is creating the donation culture. And personally, I'm not inclined to support the opinion that the material prosperity of society is a prerequisite for charitable actions or giving help. But it has been said that Estonians are people of charts. So I took the World Giving Index rankings 2024. And let's look on the position here on the chart. So we are on the 84th position among 142 states. And our score is 39. 100 is the highest possible score. The World Giving Index is an annual report published by the Charities Aid Foundation, and the Charities Aid Foundation is in turn closely connected with the umbrella body for the voluntary and community sector in England, the National Council for Voluntary Organizations. If I bring here the rest of the countries participating in our fundraising consortium, the placements are as follows. So now looking more closely at Estonia and only financial donations, I chose Swedbank's and Good Deed Foundation's donation online platform I Love to Help. Swedbank's market share in Estonia is 37%, so this data can be extrapolated. The most recent and comprehensive overview is from 2023. The diagram shows that a total of 350,267 euros were donated to various projects offered on the platform. The average amount donated has almost doubled in 4 years and has risen to 44 euros. The largest donation was 25,000 euros. If you look at the distribution of donations by fields or sector, they are shown in the pie chart. The money collected for children is 37%, followed by health, 24%, then a strong civil society, 22%, and animals and nature protection is 12%, and education is 4%. However, coming closer to Caritas Estonia, when planning further activities, we look at NGOs that work in area close to us. Their collected donations in 2023 are as follows. I will a little bit tell who these organizations are. Of course, we know Red Cross, but then Mondo is an Estonian organization aiming to reduce global inequality. Mondo operates in 12 countries abroad, and it focuses on education, health, livelihood, environmental and digital competence programs in partner countries. Gift of Life is a privately initiated cancer treatment support foundation whose mission is to help cancer patients whose treatment is not considered sufficiently cost-effective by the state at this point. Good Deed Foundation is Estonia's first and only strategic philanthropy organization, and they are a part of the Impact Capital Providers Network Impact Europe. It should be borne in mind that the Red Cross and Mondo raise considerable funds for Ukraine. Most of the donations to them are made to support Ukraine. A big corruption scandal happened in Estonia in 2023 in connection with Ukrainian funds, and this has had a direct impact on donations also to Ukraine, but overall, all the donations were hit hard and went into decline. In addition, Estonia's poor economic situation has an impact. Our economy has been in decline for the past 40 months. Caritas operates in close cooperation with the Catholic Church. Until last week, there was no diocese in Estonia, and because the size of our Catholic Church is very small. According to official statistics, there are approximately 6,500 Catholics in Estonia. The church also depends on donations. I looked at the situation regarding donations in our bishop's office and larger parishes. The picture is as follows. The amount of donations has increased a bit. For the most part, the Estonian Catholic Church depends on foreign donations. They are not reflected in the parish data on the slide. For example, the German Boniface Association, so to call in German, Bonifatiuswerk, is one of the biggest supporters. And now, a few words about Estonian fundraising campaign. We have done so far only 3 campaigns. First, in 1999, helping Chechen war refugees. That was just soon after the outbreak of the Second Chechen War. And the birth of the state of Chechnya and its quick termination as a result of Russian aggression have been closely related to Estonia. Even personally, because the first president of Chechnya, Johar Dudayev, was a general of the Soviet army in Tartu during the occupation. The first head of Caritas Estonia, Lagle Parek, also lived and worked in Tartu. Later, it became clear that Dudayev used the opportunities of the university town of Tartu to secretly collect material for the establishment of an independent democratic state. Lagle Parek was again a dissident who fought for Estonian independence and was imprisoned in a Soviet concentration camp because of her activities. The Chechen campaign was probably one of the first Estonian international aid campaigns. In this campaign, we did the right thing by not collecting basic goods for war refugees, but money. We started from the logic that there is a better knowledge of the shortcomings in the refugee camps. We gave the money to Sakartvelo Caritas, Georgian Caritas, which delivered aid to the refugee camps in Ingushetia. About 250,000 people lived in these camps. Caritas Baby Hospital in Bethlehem. We visited Bethlehem on Christmas and New Year 2001, where we saw the prevailing situation at Caritas Baby Hospital. At the meeting with the hospital people, it was said that there is a shortage of warm clothes for babies. Estonia's largest knitting campaign was born, and as a result of which we sent thousands of handmade socks, scarves, hats, sweaters, blankets, etc. to Bethlehem. They arrived in Bethlehem by Christmas 2002. Each dining place has its own child. That was throughout 2 years lasting campaign, and the background of it was that Estonia's independence brought really big social and economical changes. Our monetary reform is probably one of the most radical that was carried out in the world. All people's savings were wiped out and each resident was given an equal amount, which is 10 euros in today's currency. Capitalism hit children hard and many children did not get proper hot food during the day. We gathered dozens of canteens near schools into a campaign that provided free meals to hundreds of children every day after school. Later, the Estonian Food Bank grew out of this project, and we also involved the Good Deed Foundation, for which it was one of the first projects. So 2 spin-offs grew out of fundraising, and they are still operating successfully. And finally, Caritas Estonia is restarting as an organization. Thanks to the formation of the diocese, we hope that the time will be favorable for this. For the last 15 years, Caritas Estonia has been an organization with 1 employee, who is my wife. I am a volunteer in various projects. The ongoing fundraising project has been a very good place to learn and get ideas. We know that our needs we know, and we see also that the resources are less than needed. So we are developing our ability to attract more donations, first from the parishes and then from the wider society. The image of Caritas Estonia is good in Estonia. It is a reliable and valued social partner for the state. The state is currently our biggest donor. And some ideas are shown here, what I have found very valuable and interesting from this fundraising working group. Some of them have been mentioned before, but this gift ladder and real gifts from Skiaf, a really good tip. We are working with that on here in Estonia. Also, donation acceptance policy, very important, and we have thoroughly read and get to know with also these rules, also from Skiaf. The legacy project, what Luxembourg has done, beautiful, and could be something what we should consider in Estonia. And the GPAS, what just presented Hugo, a great way to organize, let's say, grassroots activities. And in addition, I see great potential in the more coordinated action with a Caritas response team, what is a unit in Caritas Europe. It would definitely be useful for us to think about emergency campaigns on a pan-European level. I believe that the pan-European emergency unit could act in coordination with the Council of Bishops Conference in Europe and the Commission of the Bishops Conference at the European Union, and with the dioceses under them. We could then simultaneously act in the 2 directions, parish involvement and also lobbying. These are my short thoughts, and thank you for this. And I'm happy to answer any questions if there is any.
Thank you, Hugo. Hugo Ott, sorry.
Yeah, works well, Hugo, as well. Yeah.
And actually, we could discuss then in our escape rooms that will be soon open, and if we could have the escape room time for 10 minutes, and in those breakout rooms, we could discuss about the 3 questions that why should the parishes collaborate with Caritas, and how do we set a common goal for Caritas and the parishes, and then what benefits does Caritas give to the parishes? If we discuss in smaller groups about these questions, and then we come back. And Hugo will start sharing.
I'll put here the questions in the chat. I will send it again to the breakout rooms.
You can perhaps copy them if they are not seen then in the smaller groups.
I will put them later in each group. So it's 10 minutes, right, Laura?
Yes.
So I will create 6 rooms. Okay.
Yeah. So we will be back 12:25 CET.
And let's see if this works. Yeah. Yeah.
Hugo, hello. I'm sorry, I had a Just Giving problem, so I had to have a webinar with them. I've come back in. What are they discussing in the breakout rooms? Can't hear you, sorry. I think you're still on mute.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
right.
hi, sorry about that.
Yeah, right.
I had to go and have a webinar with a support meeting with Just Giving. But
Okay.
so I had to come out and come back in again. So what are they discussing in the breakout rooms?
Sharing experience, sharing about what we talk about it, new ideas.
Yeah. Do you want to pop me in somewhere, or are they about to come back?
I will put you in the room 2.
Thank
There's
you.
only 2 people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Bye.
No, that's okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
People are returning to the plenary.
Yeah.
I see that in the other rooms they continue sharing a lot. They don't want to come. Aha, they're coming now.
Good, great. Well, thank you for doing that. I was just gonna just a short time if people want to share a little bit more with the larger group. I think for time, if I took some notes from my group, and maybe others did that as well, so we can collate those notes. So don't worry about sharing everything. But if there's any points, just for a couple of minutes. If anyone would like to share anything just from that time, if it helped them.
I think it was a little bit short time, I would say. we barely started to discuss, and then it was over.
Well, we can continue here now a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
I think someone had their hand up there, but I think I may have lost them. Maybe just speak if. Don't worry, you've been very polite, but just speak out. Was it?
Maybe I would like to share feedback from our group. Finally, I have electricity, and I'm not afraid that I will be cut from the meeting. The common thoughts in our group was the following: we were lack of time also. But the common thoughts were that the benefits which Caritas and parishes receive from our cooperation is that we are like a bridge between people in need and those people who have profits, who are more rich, and they would like to help other people. And parishes are looking for the benefits because sometimes they want some humanitarian aid, some food for those people, for those families in their parish. And also we are looking for those people who are rich in this parish who could help us also. And so our the main word was like that we are a bridge between these people. If somebody from my group would like to add, because I do not remember everything, so you can do. Thank you.
Thank you. That's helpful. We were speaking a little bit about how we have this shared mission all together. Like, you know, we have this shared mission of justice and of serving others. You know, these kind of Christian values that connect us all. That came across very, very strong. And yes, we will be different, and we are different in our different and how we do things, but we still have that same mission, which is something that we can all connect with, and we can receive that kind of support through challenges and also be encouraged by these sorts of webinars.
We have, sorry, Erica, continue. You can speak.
Yeah, I just can share, but we discussed as well all of those 3 questions, and well, we decided that it depends on how the country is developed in the structure of Caritas, because while we were listening to all seminar, we can feel the differences in different countries. We have a different structure. Some of those have more active small groups, some others have less. And but by every step of the way, national Caritas and those who are working in the parishes, they should work together, and you can feel that we can benefit from each other, because those who are working in the local areas, they see the need the best. and in the national level, they can be responsible for the communication, they can be responsible for the advocacy, representation of whole Caritas, for example, on a national level, both on international level. So that collaboration is necessary. And for example, with we discussed with Sanya, we have a similar structure in both of our countries. So we feel that it is necessary. Without this communication and collaboration, we couldn't work, because we are like one unit, one organization, and we have to work as one. So, yeah.
Thank you. Hugo.
No, I'm just clapping.
Oh, it's clapping. Sorry, I thought it was the hand. That's good. That's good. We've noted the clapping.
I was not in any group, so I didn't took notes. I was just.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, one thing that's maybe good to open up here as well, in the small group, we just asked that question of how well known is Caritas to your Catholic community. So, for example, we talked a bit that in Spain, Caritas is well known, but because of the structures, it's not that Caritas works directly with parishes, it has to go through the local kind of network. And then we spoke a little bit about how in some countries it might be that even the priests don't know who Caritas are, or it might be that you recognize Caritas, but you don't really know what Caritas do. I'm just wondering if it's worth opening that up a little bit more in this, if anyone wants to kind of pitch in with that on how easy it is. You know, maybe sometimes we're starting from people don't know who Caritas are, even within the Catholic community. Rachel.
Thank you. That's really, really relevant to us at the moment, and trying to increase our engagement with parishes. We had, we had about 30% engaged last year. It has been 50%, which we were really pleased with. I undertook some telephone calling of parish priests during January, February, March. To be honest, I only spoke to about 30, but I thought it was probably a good snapshot, and nobody said anything negative. We were worried that people were going to say, "Oh, I liked it more when you're too Manchester-based," or something like that, but they didn't. What they said was, "Oh no, you're doing great things." And when I said, "Father, that's lovely, thank you. What great thing do you like the most?" In other words, I was trying to get them to tell me, they couldn't articulate it. They couldn't articulate what it is that we do. So, I would help them out and say, "Is it our work in homelessness? Is it our work in poverty?" And that speaks to me, not that I'm a marketeer, but that really speaks to me about our messaging. Even though 4 years, 5 years on from trying to, really work on our brand, there are so many things that we do. It is very, very hard for the parish priests in our Catholic community to understand what it is exactly that we're helping with, that impact. Yeah, that's our experience anyway in the Diocese of Salford.
Thank you.
May I join?
Yes,
with this
please do.
Thank you. Somehow it's a pity if parish priests do not know Caritas. This is the responsibility of the church. We are part and body of the church, and working in the church or with the church depends on the country settlement. I think that the presidents, the bishops, they have a crucial role in it. And I think that we as Caritas, we have to have an open floor and talking with the bishops about Caritas activities, first of all. For you that you don't have a close connection with the many priests, information about Caritas could be shared with every priest in the country, but it's always question if they read that. So for us in Bosnia and Herzegovina, we have not that problem. Caritas is very well known, because we had a war 30 years ago. So any member of this, of every citizen was somehow beneficiary of Caritas activity, food, medical clothing, or something else was given through Caritas. So this image stayed, but it changed over the year. And sometimes we face that they see us as a package. So we need to go outside of this package, because Caritas is much more than just distribution of the food and clothes and everything. So that's another risk, I would say. But inside, thanks to the bishop, thanks to the president of Caritas, teaching on Caritas is on the theological faculty for the priests. And we have, thanks to the agreement in the Bishop Conference, 1 day a year as the Caritas Day, which is for us third Advent week, third Advent Sunday. So everywhere in the church, towards the country, is spoken about Caritas. There is a message to be sent to the believers. We write the homilia, so it's easy for the priests to read this instead of preparing homilia for them. We prepare the prayer for that day. We inform people, they can donate, collect money. We use different tools, etc. So I think that animation of the bishops is very important, to be that he animates with his power to the priests if they are not informed about what Caritas does. Our level is how to mobilize and inform the believers and also other people, other citizens, depends where the Caritas functions. So I think that we don't have to be afraid to communicate with this bishop, and we easily have to talk with him, because with them, because they are really part of, Caritas is part of the church, they are part of the church, so this is one body. Somehow it should work together, and if it's not one part already. So that was just a bit of advice from my side.
No, that's helpful. Thank you. I'm not sure who put their hand up first, but we'll go to Jenny first, if that's okay.
Thanks. So we spend a lot of time, as you can imagine, on communicating with parishes, and particularly for our big fundraising moments, one of which is happening this weekend. And in fact, today is our second family fast day of the year. So our practice at these times is to send parishes a mailing, a communication that arrives kind of a month, 6 weeks before the actual collection day, and we support volunteers that we have in nearly, well, many of about, I think we have volunteer coverage in 70 to 80% of our parishes. So there's at least one volunteer in almost every parish, and that volunteer is encouraged to speak at Mass at this collection time. So this is an opportunity, ideally twice a year at Lent and at this time in October, to speak to the church congregation about what we do, what we're doing, and how their support in the collection helps. And we try and make that offer as broad as possible, and give parishes kind of every different tool that is possible to give at that time. So in terms of reaching parishes, we're lucky. We have the privilege of having this practice of sending them a mailing twice a year. But we still know that even those who attend Mass every week and supposedly then hear from us, we still know that about 2 in 5, we think about 40% of those people who say they go to Mass regularly haven't really heard of us or don't know much about what we do. So we're still trying to reach those people. So using different kinds of language, trying to identify who they are and what else we need to do to reach them. So it's just constant attention, constant engagement. And using your local staff really, really efficiently. Thanks.
Thanks, Jenny. Sorry, because your name's not there, I'm sure your name is not iPhone, but if you'd like to speak next, you can give us your name.
Sorry, I forgot to write it down again. My name is Kristina. I'm from Lithuania. I'm from Vilnius Archdiocese Caritas. And what I have noted that in Lithuania, people, like even outside the church, they know name of Caritas for sure. And when we communicate with them, they should say, yes, Caritas, of course, but what exactly we are doing, they don't know. I would say that the same situation is kind of also with priests, they know Caritas, they know some activities, and I think that it's not their fault. But for example, when we need to represent our Caritas, which has 14 different help centers, it means that we solve 14 different problems. It's even hard for us to do it in short time. You know, it's very complex, and I think that it would be nice to hear an ideas how the other Caritas, like in other countries, they represent themselves, for example, for donors and so on, how that problem that is so complex make it so short and so easy to recognize, because it takes a lot of time.
Yep, that's a very good question. We have that issue to deal with. I won't say it's a problem, because I think sometimes we would say that the complexities of our work is a good thing, because we're trying to tackle the complexities of development, let's say. So we're not saying that there is one solution. We're not saying that there is one easy thing to do. But you're right, it can be difficult when you're giving that one sentence of this is what we do, because we do advocacy, we do education, we look at the root problem of poverty, so it is difficult. But someone just wants to hear, give me that much money and I'll do that, and that's what it does. And at the moment we refuse to do that because it's not easy, and we kind of take pride in the fact that it's complex. I know that's just my opinion. I know there's a few questions, and I know time is running out as well. But these are all good things. These are all great questions, because hopefully as a team we can take these, Hugo, Laura, and we can kind of look at them, because I think a question about that kind of international exchange, that connecting with different parishes from one parish to another is another interesting question. But Hugo, I'll hand over to you just now. I don't know if there is time to tackle some of these, or whether we want to close and take some of these really good questions onto a next sort of webinar or discussion.
I will say, Mark, probably in the next, we can try to get back all this question and try to give a answer later. Yeah, because we are running out of time. Yeah. Do you agree, Mark? So, Laura, do you have something to say?
Yes, I do. So we are going to have a next webinar in the end of November. We are going to talk about doing fundraising with corporations. So a little bit another point of view to fundraising, and we will send you a registration link later to you. You can also participate to that. And now in the end, so we could like to get some feedback. So Hugo will prepare some kind of questions for us about this session.
Yes, so it's really important, your feedback. So we prepare here a survey, and be honest, and be kind as well, or not, but be honest. And for us, it's very important to have your honest opinion. So let me put it here. It's 10 questions, but it's quick, so will not take a lot of time. Did you see?
Yes.
Yeah, it's available now. Okay, great. So take your time, and then we can see later the results.
we lost the questionnaire, Hugo.
Disappeared.
Yeah,
Halfway through.
mid-typing. Yeah.
Why?
I thought I did something wrong.
Yeah, me too.
No, it disappeared.
Okay, and now?
Okay, we have.
Sorry,
Yes,
I don't
we
know.
have.
I didn't done anything. I don't know what happened. Sorry. Probably have to do since the beginning. Is it working now? Yes? Okay, great. Because I'm not seeing here answers.
Takes time to answer 10 questions, Hugo.
Yeah, I don't see it too.
No. Is it not working?
I'm struggling as well, but I'm not sure
No.
if mine.
No, it's not working.
Why?
I managed to do something and
Yeah,
submit it.
now I'm receiving two people.
Still working.
Same, I've managed. I think I've submitted. I think it's gone.
It's gone again?
Sorry, I mean, I think mine has submitted, Hugo.
Yeah.
And me too. So if you've got
Okay,
two,
now
that's
If you've
Rachel
got
and me.
I'm receiving now
Super
4
fast
people.
typing.
Yeah. Sorry, probably it was a too long survey by the end of the day.
I like your tactic of making us do it now, though. Hoping we'll do it later.
8 people answered. Okay, great. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Now it's working.
We want to know a lot of things.
No, it's really true. The feedback that you gave us, it's really important because we were thinking and planning and wondering and what to kind of a webinar we will organize to you and to give you. So it's really important for us. And as Laura mentioned, we have another one in 28th of November. So we'll take it in care all of your considerations and comments and remarks to improve. Okay, 13 people, just, yeah. Take one more 2 or 3 minutes just to, because other thing that we were talking, it's if we do it this later and send in the link, the chances that you will feel it will be lower. So let's take time in the meeting. Sorry for that, but at least we guarantee that we had some answers from you. Okay, 3 people left, so I think, can I close the questionnaire? Is someone is missing? 3, 2, 1, and I will close it, and then we'll share briefly the results. Okay. So, can you see the results?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, here it's the first question, the evaluation. Yeah, then we can see the okay, we cannot see here the detailed answers. Okay, we'll share with you later. Okay, difficult challenge. Okay, this is the ranking, so it's better to see these ones, then you can see it. About expectations. the presentation were inspiring or not. Okay. If the participants learning something and it can apply to the work. Okay. Which session? Okay. The evaluating different sessions. Great. And then, yeah, then we have a lot of remarks, and then I cannot show you here. Okay. So thank you for your participation. Laura, do you want to make a final ask for a final feedback or something like that?
Well, if you have some feedback you want to share in speaking, so you can speak. And myself, I'm really grateful that you were here, and I'm also glad that we found the audience, because we don't have our own contact lists to people who do fundraising with parishes. So I was a little bit excited that how could we found right people, but with help of Esther from Caritas Europa's office or somewhere, so we did found great people to participate to this webinar. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day.
Thank
Have a nice
you.
day. Bye bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Maria,
Yes.
I sent you
Hola.
a direct message to you.
Oh,
Did you
okay.
saw in the
No,
chat?
through the chat? No, where? How?
Your chat. I send you directly to your chat here in the
Okay.
Zoom.
Ah, I didn't see it. Sorry.
Laura and Mark, Maria is from Caritas Spain.
Okay. Hello. Nice to see you.
How are you?
I'm catching
Fine,
here
thanks.
Maria now. She was not. This was not prepared. Maria, we are counting with you.
Mhm.
So we are making the invitation for the next webinar on 28th of November.
28th, no, my birthday.
Wow, amazing. We can sing everyone, all the Europe sing your birthday to you. So, but the invitation is we are preparing the next webinar.
Yes.
It's about corporate fundraising and corporate. So it will be,
Corporate companies. Okay.
companies. It will be the same format, like 50 minutes a presentation, and then 5 minutes to open questions. And then I think will be very interesting if you can, or you can appoint other team or colleague from your team to present what you work, or giving some best practice or something like that. You know, it will be very important. So far, the agenda that we have, it's Caritas Portugal present a diagnostic, how we work with companies. Then we have Caritas Austria, right, Laura? We are going to invite Caritas Austria.
Yeah, I hope so.
To be part of it. And I will invite Caritas Poland. Remember, Maria, when we are in Rome? There were 3 girls from Caritas Poland, and they were talking that they work a lot with companies and they have a lot of expertise.
Okay.
So I will invite them. And yeah, and if it's okay for you, if you can, it will be very important for us. And
okay, great.